What's up guys, welcome to a new video. Right now we're going over New Horizons, how the sanin would do against each Akatsuki duo. Let's get right into it. It's 22 minutes. Let's hope there's at least some good points.
The sanin together were present at what you could argue was the Akatsuki's inception, and as their life paths diverged.
I will skip to do some brevity. I will see until there's a point where he gets into the fights, so...
All were killed or near. Because this resulted in him clashing with one of the Akatsuki's strongest members, which eventually her to heal her village, so himself and to beat the Orochimaru that fought four-tailed Naruto but fully healthy. Say that both teams become aware of each other at the same time. The only winning addition for the sanin is at least one of them surviving and to defeat the Akatsuki duo in this fight. Even if everyone perishes in the fight, it is still considered a loss for the sanin since the rest of the Akatsuki is unchecked now. Lastly, to specify, this will be the Orochimaru that fought four-tailed Naruto but fully healthy. This is the one we know the most about and actually see fight. Plus this makes sense since the time period for this scenario is early Part 2. With all that being said, I'll start off by explaining why these three shinobi are such a great team together, and then talk about how they do against the zombie duo. If you were to create a tier of shinobi that are roughly sanin level, you likely wouldn't be able to pick three of them that would be better than the team overall. This is because of how well these three cover each other's weaknesses. Tsunade and Jiraiya are not particularly smart fighters, but Orochimaru is. Tsunade does not have the most diverse set of abilities, but Orochimaru and Jiraiya do. Jiraiya does not have much of a way of healing himself, but Tsunade does have the ability to heal him. Orochimaru's attack power is not the highlight of his arsenal, but Tsunade and Jiraiya can make up for that. On top of all of this, you have a medic on this team, and at least a war's worth of experience together. This is as complete as a team of three can be compared to their power level. So to start off, how do they do against something as durable as a zombie duo? While we sadly don't know how the sanin work together in a fight, we do know how Hidan and Kakuzu do. We can expect for the game plan to be Hidan running around pestering the sanin, while Kakuzu's mask assists them by firing a mutually assured attack. While this isn't some type of attack that is going to instantly defeat someone, it is one that is hard to deal with and can quickly wear you down. Kakashi was quickly roughed up by it, and Shikamaru boldly elected to take Hidan one-on-one instead of fighting team-on-team. The problem is that this is a terrible matchup for Hidan, power aside. Tsunade can heal through
And everyone except for Tsunade is faster than Hidan.
wounds, and Orochimaru can oral rebirth if Hidan curses him, and Jiraiya possibly can be healed by Tsunade if he is cursed as well. It would also be hard to see Jiraiya being cursed considering that Kakashi never was without the help of two sanin as well. It should be no surprise that this quickly turns into a sanin versus Kakuzu fight instead of a sanin versus Akatsuki duo fight. Orochimaru should be able
As most fights go. As seen with the two tails, we don't exactly know how the fight ended, but we do know how it started. Kakuzu did the best, blocking the paw and reacting to it, along with just generally not seen taking a lot of damage from it. Then there is the fight with the monk, which, yes, Kakuzu was sent flying, but he wasn't being all that serious as like he did in the fight against Team Kakashi. When he is serious, he takes his cloak off in a fight, and then it's just covered in his rags.
a curse mark on Hidan that paralyzes him just like he did against Guru. Even if this doesn't happen, like I said earlier, each sanin has a way to nullify the effects of being cursed by him, so he's not very relevant in this fight. So this leaves only Kakuzu. It would be a little difficult to say that Kakuzu can win in this situation.
Agreed. To be conservative with what I'm saying and say that Kakuzu isn't high up on the Akaski, I would say that he is around number 4. I would say that Kakuzu is too durable for them to kill, mainly because of the Two Tails attack and the fact that he says that he hasn't been hurt by anything physical before, meaning that all forms of physical attacks, like the two tails or the monk punching him and sending him in the air, did nothing to him, along with several attacks landed on Kakuzu during the fight. So, well, aside from the hacks one, which is hit on stabbing his heart, so.
Considering that he basically lost to Naruto being backed up by Yamato.
He lost because of Naruto using shadow clones to trick him by hitting a fake Naruto with the Rasen Shuriken. It's actually a pretty good plan by, along with tricking Kakuzu, because Kakuzu is not a sensory type.
Kakashi. On the other hand, do these three have the firepower together that can match a Rasen Shuriken? Kakuzu's durability seems to be.
The Rasen Shuriken's power isn't what killed him. It's the durability bypassing blades that killed him. Not blades, needles, but you get my point. He didn't die from its power.
Would easily withstand the two tails.
They would have to do something like their Storm 4 Ultimate, which I don't think they have in canon, but just to give it to them in general, throughout all these fights and everything, I think that might work, but I think they would have to pull off moves like that to do lots of damage to Kakuzu. And be known that Kakuzu's durability is quite high. I wouldn't highball it to the point of saying that he has the I technically he does have the highest form of durability in the series, because otherwise I'll make a Kakuzu video later, but what I am saying is that the sanin aren't strong enough to hurt him, nor would I say they're fast enough to. But going off with their version of Orochimaru that he picked, I would say that this version of Orochimaru would still lose, but give him help. And saying how, I think it was in one of the data books that said that the Sanin's power, teamwork increases their power. So, and power can mean a lot of things, like speed. Power can mean overall stats. So I'm just gonna go with the overall stats thing and say that it could possibly make them light speeders, considering how close they are. But I would say that Kakuzu would still win, or at the best, it would be a stalemate, mainly due to how tricky their movesets are, and how Kakuzu can't fly all that well unless he hits the ground, and his attack speed is slow with his jutsu, so.
A massive Rasengan from Jiraiya is likely not doing Kakuzu in, since he took a Rasen Shuriken to take him down without his Earth style heart giving him the ability to harden his skin. Orochimaru doesn't have a big attack for him, and Tsunade's punches would likely severely be nullified. The reason why the Sanin win though is that they can bail each other out, just like Kakashi and Yamato did for Naruto. Jiraiya's fire style can combat Kakuzu's ranged jutsus, or Orochimaru's Rashomon gates can as well. If Kakuzu tries to grab one of them, the other two will come in and aid, just like Yamato and Kakashi did.
They only did that once, but okay.
Kakuzu has no path to victory, while all the Sanin can wear him down, while also protecting each other when necessary. They may even have to bring their summons into this fight, but regardless, the Sanin clear the first Akatsuki duo without losing a single member. The next
They all die horribly. Alright, ad. I'm sorry. But let's talk about, not talk, but let's talk about how the matchup really would go. Kakazu would join in on the fight after seeing Hidan horribly lose and seeing how his hearts aren't fast enough to hit them. So he would jump in, he would speed blitz Tsunade, considering she's the physically strongest one, and then just kick her away like how he did Kakashi. Granted, Kakashi wasn't full power considering he didn't use his Mangekyo, but I don't see that as a high enough boost, so it also wouldn't be comparable to KCM. So he then destroys Jiraiya and Orochimaru in just pure strength. Sprints at them, chokeslams. Jiraiya starts beating on him. Orochimaru tries to pull him off, but he can't because Kakazu, I do think he would be able to pull him off because Kakazu does have a one-track mind. So he would be pulled off, but I don't see him being, ganged up on by Jiraiya and Orochimaru. And he would just win out of sheer durability.
On Pain and Conan. For the first scenario, Pain will instantly know the Sanin are in the Leaf Village, so the Sanin won't get much time to investigate where Pain is. Originally, Conan fought Jiraiya first, and when she was swiftly defeated, Nagato made her retreat. I think that was just to gauge Jiraiya's strength, so if all three Sanin appear, I don't think Pain is sending Conan out at all. This also means Pain will
He would more than likely still send her, but with the three, and then the other three to intercept and hide behind, just in case those three aren't enough. Nagato isn't that good of a strategist, so I would say that just like like before, he would still use the weakest paths, and then he would use and then he would use the three strongest paths. The three weakest being the summon, I think it's the Naraka path, and the Peta path.
with just the animal summon. I would estimate that he respects the Sanin enough that he actually.
All three of these were able to block hits and react to Sage Orochimaru. The only thing that actually changed the fight in Sage Jiraiya's favor was Frog Song, which paralyzed all of them.
All six paths here. Sage mode Jiraiya was worthy of three paths, so adding two Sanin will likely be so threatening.
Sage Jiraiya is not stronger than those three, nor are they equal. I would say all of these three pains are all slightly above Sage Jiraiya, and then you mix in Tsunade, who's slower than Jiraiya, and then you add in Orochimaru, who is faster than Jiraiya, but not. I wouldn't say Sage. I wouldn't say Sage Jiraiya. Sage Jiraiya, or Tsunade, or Orochimaru, or Four Tails Naruto are on the same level as Pain. Mainly the Diva path. And considering that these three were strong enough to face up with Sage Jiraiya, but also got destroyed by Sage Naruto, and the only path that was on Naruto's level being the Peta path. Basically, what I'm saying is Pain is more of is in between Sage Naruto above all three sanin. But together, I would say the sanin still lose to Sage Naruto. You get my point. The idea is that the diva path, once he sees that these ones are sort of being overwhelmed by Orochimaru's sheer number of abilities and how reckless he's getting, and along with these paths, mainly because Orochimaru, Jiraiya, and Tsunade all have summons. Orochimaru more reckless with his, being able to summon a large wave of snakes, and also Manda. Then combine that with uh, Katsuya and Gamabunta, along with other toads that Jiraiya could summon. Then I would say it makes the fight more equal for against these three. But add in the Asura path, the Naraka path, and the Diva path, then I would say that the fight gets even harder, considering the Diva path can repel away any of the jutsu. Asura is faster than Jiraiya, Tsunade, and stronger than uh, Jiraiya, so he would be able to tear off those two's limbs, along with Orochimaru. My point being, if they're not fast enough to keep up with them, the fight's over.
He just decides to go all in. One key disadvantage for Pain in the Rain Village is that he presumably can't use planetary devastation. He wouldn't want to destroy his own village, and if the fight is taken out of the village, the Diva Path likely won't be close enough to Nagato to...
Okay, good. That's good, but I mainly wonder about the other highly strung techniques like the rockets or mainly the Sanin have free reign for their really strong abilities. The real thing that he's not covering here is the speed disadvantage. So,
planetary devastation. In Nagato's mind, he would be willing to lose and find 6 new paths instead of decimating his own village. But anyway, how does this fight go down exactly? The first aspect I want to cover is how the Sani do against the lesser paths, as they will need to get through those before facing the Diva path. The animal path's chameleon summon will not be that effective this time, since Orochimaru is a sensory type. As for the dog summon, that can be restrained once the Sani learn that it splits like fission. Gamabunta did this by sitting on it when Naruto fought Pain, and in this situation, Orochimaru could use a snake summon to strangle it as well. After that, the only other offense they have to deal with is the Asura path, and I think the Sanin are capable of taking that down alone. The problem is that when the paths start working together, specifically when the Diva path starts getting involved. If the Diva path pulls the Sanin into the Asura path's blade, it could be deadly. Luckily, this is not a 1v1 scenario for them though, so the other two Sanin could bail the other one out if they get pulled in almost any time. Tsunade could come in and possibly take the hit and regenerate through it, or Jiraiya could do something like throw out a jutsu for suppressive fire. So I don't think Pain's universal pull combo is that deadly early in the fight, but the problem is dealing with the almighty pushes. Pain was able to easily almighty push 3 toad summons far out from the center of the Leaf Village, and this instantly defeated them. I don't think this instantly defeats the Sanin, as Tsunade did survive the almighty push that destroyed the Leaf Village, but it is not a good exchange for them at all, considering how easily Pain can do this. Almighty Push will also be very disruptive when it comes to dealing with the other paths too. Anytime the Sanin are on the verge of defeating a lesser path, Pain can push or pull them to totally disrupt it. This means that trying to take the lesser paths out first won't be very efficient, because they will be spending so much time either saving each other or getting damage from an almighty push. This means that the Diva path might be better for focusing first, so what can they do in that situation? Trying to take him out with a close range attack while all the other Pains are alive is not going to be feasible. The Asura path saved the Diva path from being hit by Kakashi's Chidori, and Naruto had to defeat all the other paths before even getting close close-range fighter, and Orochimaru does not really have any good long-range attacks here. If Jiraiya enters Sage Mode and tries his auditory genjutsu, I don't expect that to work because of the Diva Path. It takes a moment to take effect, and if the Diva Path feels threatened, he can just Almighty push Jiraiya far away again. The sanin don't really have any other option when it comes to that strategy, so it looks like they'll have to just slug through the Lesser Path.
It doesn't really take a moment to set in. Plus, they would be affected by it because, well, it's sound.
In order to have more ways to take on the Diva Path. I do believe that they can defeat all the weaker paths, but by the time they do, they will be slightly worn down. Tsunade can brawl well here. Orochimaru himself.
Also, keep in mind, Konan is able to tangle with Jiraiya, and her paper is able to overpower his basic fire jutsu. His speed is the only thing that got her, with her barely able to keep up with him. So, and then so we already have an opponent that is forcing Jiraiya to act hastily. So, combine that with several more that are 10 times stronger because Sage Mode is a 10 times amp. So,
Physically do well. And Sage Mode Jiraiya can do well both in physically and in jutsu wise. They also can bail each other out of universal pulls decently and withstand almighty pushes okay as well. Tsunade can heal through most physical attacks, Orochimaru can fully regenerate himself, and those two can at least save Jiraiya from some type of universal pull combo. As for the almighty pushes, they will have to take them on the chin, and they can do that just to an extent though, since Tsunade already demonstrated that. By the time they get to that point though, they will be so worn down from those almighty pushes that I don't think they'll be able to pull off killing the Diva Path. If the Toad summons were defeated with one of these almighty pushes, then how many can the Sanin realistically take here? You also have the problem of Pain potentially using it on two of the Sanin, and then taking the remaining one-on-one. Also, anytime the Diva Path feels uncomfortable, he can just do one of these massive almighty pushes to thwart their attack. This is what he did against Kakashi. He was mostly just stalling to find out where Naruto was, but once Kakashi pressured him, he did one massive almighty push and the fight was instantly over. And the Sanin don't have any way to deal with being almighty pushed either. They can bail each other out when being pulled, but being pushed is just a matter of taking it on the chin. So with all that being said, I don't see them winning because they'll be so worn down by the Diva Path's sheer power. The next duo for them to take on is the comrade killing duo and Itachi and Kisame. Itachi himself is going to be a massive problem for this.
they get folded. There's nothing else to say, they get folded. Kisame is a match for Killer Bee. Well, not even a match. He's faster than. He's fast enough to catch up to not QB. Gyuki enhanced Killer Bee. It's about a 10 times amp for the cloaks. And then you add on the fact that he was able to. And also, to be clear, 10 times multipliers. Characters like, for instance, Part 1 Naruto was still able to perceive that version of Sasuke who used a 10 times multiplier. So I would say that he's much faster than him. I would say that both of these two are much faster than Tsunade and Jiraiya and Orochimaru.
We know that when Orochimaru fought Itachi, he was beat with base Sharingan Genjutsu, despite Orochimaru knowing not to make eye contact. The Sanin are supposed to be all relative, which means that they are all roughly equally vulnerable here. If it was just a simple paralysis Genjutsu, those Sanin could save each other, but since Tsukiyomi is near instant, there's no saving each other from that. We also know he can use at least 2 of these a day, since he used it on both Sasuke and Kakashi. So that is almost an automatic 2 losses for the Sanin. Anytime Itachi feels pressured, he can use this to take out one opponent for sure. And we saw how Orochimaru's Hydra transformation did against Susanoo, and it did not hold up at all. The Totsuka blade was so fast for Orochimaru that he couldn't even register being hit by it until after he had been Pyrrhus. So there's 2 surefire win conditions for this duo. haven't even mentioned Kisame. Anything threatening the sanin can do will be shut down by Tsukiyomi, including Jiraiya's auditory genjutsu. There's not much to say about this fight based on how we have seen Orochimaru instantly lose against Itachi twice. The other sanin are supposed to be close in power to Orochimaru, so there's no way they can do much better than him. Even if they try to work together, Itachi is just going to be picking them off one by one, invalidating any of the coordinated efforts that we're trying to make. And Itachi gets Kisame to help him. Itachi has shown that he's well above sanin tier, so this won't be that hard for him to take on with the help of Kisame. The last duo for them to take on is the artist duo, who I imagine many people watching will think they...
Sasori's skills above Orochimaru. Sasori used himself as a benchmark to say how strong they would be to need to beat Orochimaru. Sasori could tell that Sakura was very physically strong, and Kakashi's already strong enough on his own, so that means that this possible version of event, everyone already knows how strong Kakashi is, mainly due to him being famous for cutting a bolt of lightning, so everyone already knows how fast Kakashi is and all that stuff. So boom, that's one member down of the team that Naruto was with. And then you have Sakura. He saw Sakura's strength, but he knew that she was being controlled by Chiyo most of the time. And with the other times being Sakura fighting the puppets that Sasori was using. Then there was Naruto. Now, I don't remember if Naruto has a whole lot of scaling that Sasori would be aware of, or a whole lot of things that Sasori would be aware of. But I do know that he would be on the level for the Akaski, mainly because Zetsu would be watching all their opponents. So combined together, I do think that Sasori would destroy them. And then you combine Deidara. It's a wrap. It's a wrap.
And no chance here. Well, at the moment I'm writing this, I haven't thought about who would win. I do believe this will be a tough fight. I get tired of going over this, but both Sasori and Deidara are some of the most underrated characters when it comes to versus battles. Everyone has heard the debunk about Sasori losing to Sakura and Chiyo, so I'll be focusing more on explaining why Deidara is underrated. It seems many...
Deidara's not underrated. He's perfectly where he is. He's around Happy Sasuke's level. And then you add on Sasori. Sasori is heavily underrated to the point that it's comical. Again, I'll make a Sasori, a Kisame, Kakazu, Itachi. I'll make videos for all, well, not all members, but I will make videos, I will make a video saying, or videos of how strong is the Akatsuki.
Over the fact that Deidara's C3 is implied
Holy shoot.
levels of destruction. It took Gaara in the
We are halfway into the video, and
that is the defense the sanin combined do not possess. Another thing about him that is often misunderstood is his entire fight against Sasuke. While Obito helping him in the beginning was huge, Sasuke's lightning style and intellect was a far bigger advantage. Oftentimes when Deidara is put up against another lightning style user, people will just say that their lightning style automatically stops all of Deidara's explosives, but it's not that simple. Sasuke is one of the smartest fighters in the series, and was only able to deduce that lightning style is Deidara's weakness after making a whole hypothesis about it. His Sharingan could read Deidara's earth hand signs, and he knew that some of Deidara's smallest explosives didn't work early in the fight after being hit by lightning style. Even knowing that, it wasn't like Sasuke was able to disarm any of the large explosives of Deidara anyway. He He only disarmed the nano explosives because his Sharingan could see them, and he had the ability to run electricity through his body to disarm them. The only other people who can do that in the series are the Raikage, and they aren't sensory types like Sasuke. So it was quite literally the worst possible matchup for Deidara, and he still would have won at the end had he not lost his composure.
Agreed, but Sasuke was stated to be too fast even in base form. So still, we have a character that is around, who's not around the speed of light, but he's approaching. You have Jiraiya, who gets bodied by Pains, who are who get destroyed by Sage Naruto, who is the speed of light. And then you have, I would say that Orochimaru, particularly the one that he's using, doesn't scale to light speed fighters, mainly due to that Sasori downplay that I mentioned earlier about how he scales below Sasori being multiple times faster than the speed of light. Then you use it's the comparison between these two fighters irrelevant. I don't think he's mentioned speed, and seeing as how the video has gone so far, I don't think he's going to mention it, which is a big loss because, well, speed is one of the most important things in determining who wins in a fight. Sorry, but I'm gonna have to end it here, mainly because this video is that I'm reacting to, that I'm debunking, is very disappointing. There's not a lot of meat to it, not a lot of definitive sayings, aside from like, I think the sanin would beat Kakazu, which is wrong, but he didn't get into too much depth as in why, or in like how the sanin would win. So for that, I thank you all for watching. Have a good day. Hit that like button. Hit subscribe if you're new. And I'll see y'all next time. Bye.